Pokémon Legends Arceus was compared a lot to Breath of the Wild, despite the clear differences in gameplay style. Still, one can't deny that the approach to the design was indeed similar. And if that was quote-unquote the Breath of the Wild of Pokémon, despite the open world actually being Scarlet and Violet, and we're assuming that Legends ZA will have an underground to the city of Lumiose, are we about to get the quote-unquote Tears of the Kingdom of Pokémon as well? Well, hey, I'm not so a strainer. And what about the flowers? Let's get into it. This video came to mind when discussing a previous video I made about Eternal Flower Floette. You should check that out as well after this one. But the idea is that while, in my opinion, we likely won't see AZs Floette in the game, or at least we won't see it having a big role, much like I believe AZ himself won't have, we likely will see this Pokemon show up in Lumiose City. This of course is just a theory, a good bit of speculation. Like I'm speculating, will subscribe to the channel and like this video. Go on please, prove me right, I've been wrong a lot already. But part of that speculation is that the flower makes the Floette. It draws from the flowers. And if it is said that the flowers no longer bloom anywhere, then they bloomed somewhere before. We don't know the exact needs for this flower to bloom. Since Eternal Flower Floette was never released, and besides the Kalos War cutscene, the ending of X and Y, and the flower blooming near the Cave of Origin, we never really saw anything else regarding it. But like I said on the last video, it likely wasn't blooming above the surface, since someone would care for them if they were. And so, with the Pokémon Legends Arceus Breath of the Wild connection in mind, I looked at Tears of the Kingdom and the Depths for answers. Yes, we need to talk a little bit about Zelda, bear with me. The Depths were a new addition to Hyrule, giving us a whole new section of the map to explore. Yes, Hyrule had changed a bit, but the addition of this underground area made it so we always had somewhere extra to adventure in. It was full of secrets, both lore related and item related, and it was also the place where we saw something grow and grow until it was affecting the outside. This is called Gloom, and Gloom is a substance that was released when Ganondorf was revived underneath Hyrule Castle, and it drains the life of those in contact with it. It can also infuse monsters, making them deal special damage to us. In Pokemon we also have Gloom, though it is not as menacing and I don't see it playing a big role in Pokémon Legends ZA. What we do have is something that is hidden inside the Eternal Flowers, the same flowers Eternal Flower Floette uses, and was never really explored in the games. The Pokédex description for Eternal Flower Floette in both Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon say, the flower it is holding can no longer be found blooming anywhere. It's also thought to contain terrifying power. And also, terrifying energy is concealed within its ominous flower, but Floette still swings it about innocently. This terrifying power was likely already in the flower before the ultimate weapon was fired, as we see it using its signature move during the Kalos War cutscene. This signature move is called Light of Ruin, and its description tells us that the move's power draws from the Eternal Flower, so this terrifying power can come out if something draws it out. And maybe that power is called Ruin. Again, this has nothing to do with the Treasures of Ruin, as their lore differs completely from any Kalosian lore. They are from the East and they are items that were corrupted by negative actions and negative emotions. Kinda like the Prism Pokemon, Necrozma has nothing to do with the Prism Tower in Lumiose City. This is why I can see it having another name, like Decay for example, as it does damage Floette as well. And if this power does exist, I could totally see it being explored in Pokémon Legends ZA. We never heard of the underground of Lumiose City. In fact, we're all speculating that it will be a thing in this new game, but we might all be wrong. Our only possible interaction with it was when we explored Lysander Labs, as those appear to be under Lysander Cafe. This means that nowadays, nobody explores that area. Nothing happens there, and if that place is real, it wasn't even mentioned ever again. It was closed off. Could this be because something needs to be kept down and hidden? The redevelopment of Lumiose that appears to have happened in the past, the same one we'll live through in Pokémon Legends ZA, could have found these Eternal Flowers under there, as I've theorized in the previous video about Eternal Flower Floette, and unknowingly released their terrifying power, the power of Ruin. This could have had an effect on a lot of things on the surface, affecting the ecosystem and serving as an unknown power being used by humans. And this would serve as well as a trigger for Zygarde's actions in the game. The more I think about this, the more I feel like they will have to find a way to justify why we can't leave Lumiose City. And I think the best way to accomplish this is by having Zygarde isolate us and the power we're using from the outside world. I mentioned something similar during my Terra video, and I think it works as well in this scenario. The terrifying power of the flowers could affect wildlife by making them more vicious, more agitated, kinda like alpha Pokémon, though this time due to outside influence. And maybe have a similar effect in humans as well, making them grow less patient, more violent in their thoughts and actions. In fact, thinking back to Lysander's actions, if the eternal flowers have some sort of influence in the underground of Lumiose City, maybe Lysander Labs being in the lower parts of the Kalosian metropolis made his negative thoughts grow and grow under their power, and ultimately led him to betray his family's oath of keeping the weapon a secret by trying to fire it once more. A weapon that looks like a flower, the eternal flower. So maybe looking even further back in time to AZ's actions and the fact that he simply received a tiny casket with the eternal flower his Floette used to carry, he became the one to have it close to him. Maybe only these flower-related Pokemon can draw the power while only being affected by it in their appearance, while the rest can't escape its influence when in close contact. This would, in my opinion, open up pretty cool questlines where we would be tracking flowers down in the underground, like trying to find where they bloom and stuff like that. Kinda like we had in Tears of the Kingdom with the various quests of tracking the Yiga clan, for example. This could happen with Zygarde's help, as we would be trying to restore the ecosystem, or simply with the pressure of Zygarde's wrath, as someone in power might be influenced by this flower. In Pokémon Legends Arceus, our boss opponents were limited to one battle. You had a few nobles and the legendaries, and that was it. Though here, with Zygarde's cells being all around, we could easily have various battles against this Pokémon with none of them being the actual final battle. Zygarde wants to balance the ecosystem. The effects of ruin present in the Eternal Flowers is causing both humans and Pokémon to grow so vicious that they're unbalancing it even more. And we need to be able to understand Mega Evolution in order to be able to stop the worst from happening. All while being a 10-year-old or something like that. Pokémon never change. And that is all I have for you today. The Eternal Flower's power, Ruin, could be behind Zygarde's wrath in Pokémon Legends ZA. But what about you? Do you think Flower Power will come out? Let me know in the comments down below. And now, like the video if you like it, dislike if you don't, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more Pokemon content, and also ring the bell so you know when the next video is out. Also, you can become a channel member or check out my merch in order to further support the channel. I'd be forever thankful for that. You can follow me on social media or check out one of my streams here and on Twitch. All the links are in the description. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all on the next one.